good home opener. Obviously, our defense was very, very dominant. I think we played a lot of different guys and were able to, stop the run. The only way they could really throw the ball was try to use some max protections, use some quick game, but our defense kept answering the bell. Got put in a couple bad situations after a fake punt, and also a sudden change after a turnover, but they just kept responding the entire time. So really proud of our defense. I think the veteran guys we have on that side of the ball and coaching staff showed up. Offensively, we knew Edinboro was going to bring a lot of pressures. In the run game at times, it was going to be messy and a little bit not great, but then we hit some really big runs. I thought Buck ran extremely physical, ran well. He's got great feet. He kind of showed some of that balance that he had when he's off balance a couple times, And I thought Katofka did a really good job. He had some messy pockets. Things weren't always clean. He kind of kept his feet alive, moved around, ran the ball enough to keep people honest. But, looking at it just from a turnover standpoint, we lost turnover margin 4-0. And it's going to be really difficult, to sustain that and win football games. So we've got to try to get that cleaned up. And there was a lot of learning tonight in special teams. I thought we did some things really well. We played a redshirt freshman kicker, Josh Gorball, had multiple touchbacks and made all of his extra points and, stepped up. And so that's best case scenario for me. You get a win, and we can come in here tomorrow and start coaching off the tape and improve, because we got to improve. We're going to get some players back that were out over the course of the next couple weeks, and we have to continue to improve. It was a strong defensive effort, but offensively, I think there's some room for improvement.
Absolutely. Tyler, you guys talk a little bit more about that senior defense. You guys started off the game with 2 3-and-outs for Edinboro. Talk about how important it is to get off of that good start, especially with the senior leadership you guys have.
Yeah, I think just setting the tone of the game. I think the defense really is the kind of driving factor behind that. Being able to go out there, get them off the field quick, get our offense the ball, I think really helped us in the start of the game. And, we got a lot of senior leaders on defense. Our coaches did a great job of getting us prepared, and, we got good depth, but, the senior leaders, they do a great job of getting everyone fired up to go out there and play.
Was that pick six a bit of a wake-up call, like we better step it up a little bit, or were you still pretty much in control?
From a defensive standpoint, like we control, we can control. When we go out there, we just go out there to dominate and get off the field.
They only got the field goal off the defense, so.
Yeah.
Talk about this guy. Wasn't even on the depth chart. Too deep, at least.
Yeah. Well, I think we saw, some flashes with Buck last year as a redshirt freshman, at times, and it was, after we had Chantez and we had Prague, but. One thing I'll say about Buck was he spent a lot of time in the offseason preparing himself for this moment. I think he had a great offseason, good spring ball, but really prepared himself physically throughout the course of the summer. And, I think a lot of people, if you've been in fall camp, would have probably told you thought Buck was going to, have a good year, and obviously had a good opener just based on the way he was running the ball. And, I think he gets people think since he's a bigger back, he can't run away from people, but we had a play in the spring game where he outran our entire defense, you know what I mean? And so I think you saw that tonight, like he popped out there a couple times and ran away from guys. So it's nice to kind of have that explosive threat. Bryce was the first game back, and he's a real leader of our offense, but he was cramping up a little bit, some things were happening. So no, really proud of Brock. Some huge explosive runs. Obviously 94 of it came on one play, and then that last one, he was a really physical run. And it's kind of exciting that we've got some different pieces of the puzzle in the backfield we can continue to improve upon.
The defensive line was able to get a strong push in the defensive backfield. Talk about their dominance tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a matchup we felt favorable about, just from the standpoint they had a couple new guys at running back. And, we did a good job bringing some different movements. There was times we played our base. There was times that we moved and canceled out some gaps with the interior D line. Then we brought some pressures. We brought some pressures of guys off the edge and brought some pressures with our inside linebacker too. So I think with the calls too, it helped our defensive line because they weren't playing the same technique the entire night. That change up and some of those things we did kept them guessing a little bit in terms of what we were doing.
Was it the plan to put him in when you did, or was it because of what happened to Bryce?
We were heading into the game. We don't like to get into a ton of 3 tailback rotations. I think we found over our experience here that in order to have a flow and a feel for the game, you need 2 guys. And to be honest with you, coming out of fall camp, Bryce and Buck had earned the right to be, kind of a 1-2 punch. I don't know that we have a 1 and a 2. It's kind of 1A, 1B that we use in the deal. So, no, I don't think he missed a practice the entire fall camp that I can recollect, and practiced extremely well, and I think that preparation paid off tonight.
Let's hear your perspective on the whole thing. tonight's game and almost matching your total from last year?
Oh yeah. Well, from our perspective, I just appreciate my O-line for blocking everything up. I know we're pretty young, but they worked their butts off all summer, all spring, and I just feel like they just put that work in. So I feel like they just made it a lot easier for me. And yeah, and then our defense also. I appreciate them. We had a couple of mess ups on offense, but defense kept stopping them. They held them to 10 points. So they just kept giving us chances to keep scoring.
So
What was going? Oh, go ahead.
You
Go
weren't
ahead.
surprised when you had the holes and especially the 94-yarder?
Oh no, I had a couple of them like during camp, so it's just a feel of it. It's like it's no different from practice. I feel like practice should be game time speed, game time mindset. So I'm just seeing the same stuff I was seeing during practice. I'm just executing it the same way I would if it was practice.
We mentioned before these interviews, your 94-yard run was the third largest in school history. What was going through your head during that run?
During the run, I just thought no one could tackle me. that was my main thing. No one can tackle me, and no one is going to tackle me.
Love it, love it.
And he even got a hold in the end zone and still wouldn't bring you down. So
Oh, not at
almost pulled your pants down. But
all. Yeah.
can we ask where the nickname Buck came from?
Had it since I was a child. As a baby, I used to like to eat a lot, and then I'll take 3 bottles, 3 bottles to fill me up, and then right after the 3rd bottle, I'll throw it right up. So, grandma felt like I needed a bucket over my head. So.